Baby, let me be the Andre to your Erica. You can be my prototype, baby, you can mold me. I'm out of this world, so I may need you to show me. You got me like, many ways to make a compromise with a human life. I'll get it quickly, I know we can get it right. But that thing with me and you, we need to do it twice. You got me like, lady, you the truest nice. Want you on the bluest night under the stars as we burn a few to life. 2 foot these scars, we all get a few in line. You got me like, you make it worth it deep under my surface. You give me reason to search for my purpose. My heart's on my sleeve when I used to be shirtless. You got me like,
there's all that good stuff and actually getting it on good music platforms.
you got me
And that's pretty much it for the intro right there. I just keep it real positive and real solid music. I try to make sure that I keep substance and a lot of contextual frameworks throughout the music. So like a whole bunch of different contexts and concepts in each and every song. So that's pretty much my niche when it comes to the music.
Okay. Wow. So how long you been doing independent music?
I've been writing for about 10 years, but actually like really getting in the studio and investing into the craft probably like the last 5 years.
Okay. This is your Ben is your first album?
Yes. Ben Ben's my debut album. The songs, a lot of the songs, Sugar's actually like the oldest song on there. I wrote that song 4 years ago. Like,
oh really?
And and released it last May. Well, last May, and released it last May. So, that's probably the first song I put on there, and the entire album itself was probably 2 years in the making, as far as like just ciphering through which songs to put on and finding what vibe to go for. So once I saw like people take on to Sugar before I put the album together, I kind of went for the whole, like, one half of it smooth R&B type and the other half of the album's more pick up the pace, rap and consciousness and stuff of that matter.
Okay. I first heard your music on another internet radio station back in 2018, and I thought I can't remember the single called. I think it was Gold Dust or something like that. You remember?
iChuck Radio.
Yeah, back in 2018, and you had a single out, and ever since then I was a fan. I can't remember what song it was out there, but it was 2018, like around March or something. You remember?
I think that was Eulogy.
Yeah. And after I heard that, I was pretty much a fan ever since. And so, tell me about Eulogy, if you can remember.
I couldn't hear you.
Tell me about Eulogy, that single. Well,
oh, okay, yeah. Eulogy, I recorded that in Greenville with DJ Smoke, Tyler Lewis, which is a producer and beat maker in Greenville, South Carolina, Greer area. And it's basically like the hook is killer rapper, pull up bumping this at his funeral, start a cipher during the eulogy like it's typical. So it's like a real upbeat rapping song, but it's basically kind of talking about how cutthroat the music industry is and how it's like, it's one of the bars is like, this killer be killed in the heat of the field, stay armed, they're releasing the drill. Like, so like, make sure that you're prepared because the opposition is, but all in the realm of taking it in from the political side of making sure that we're aware in the industry and even with our communication and daily presence and high and buys with people,
right?
Just making sure that we know who we are and where we stand in the midst of everything, So it was like my separation from myself from other rappers kind of thing, a little bit of a bravado type of thing.
Yeah. I love that song. So
appreciate it.
Tell us about Ben Ben. What's Ben Ben's all about? Why you name your album Ben Ben?
Okay. Well, actually, the term bin bin is a Kemetic term that, well, ancient Egypt, like our ancient like ancestors, when they built the pyramids, they called the apex stone, which is like the top tip stone. Like if you look on the back of your dollar and you see the pyramid, and they always talk about the all-seeing eye inside the pyramid. It's not inside the pyramid. It's inside the apex stone of the pyramid, which is called the bin bin.
Oh, okay.
And what would happen is the pyramids served as tombs for kings and queens and emperors and stuff. So before they died, or if they did die, that was like their will and testimony. They would inscribe like their last words on the apex stone of this pyramid. So when they died, there's like a small hole in the top of it. So it's like there's sunlight always coming directly inside of the pyramid. So it's like that message is going from their soul as it's leaving the pyramid, and it's going through that stone into the heavens, into God, or into it's their belief system. So that's what bin bin stands for. It's like the most primitive of our spiritual knowledge in between ourselves and our ancestors, so
wow.
that's what that term means. So I wanted to make sure in the album, so a lot of the album is like real deep, like it's like a lot of introspection into myself. It's a lot of introspection into what's going on out here in the world, and certain how the concepts like pain, pain between each other, what I'm saying? We both have pain, but we don't speak about our pain. But if we speak about our pain, we get closer, what I'm saying, as opposed to just starting a small conversation. But if we start connecting through pain, I've noticed that connections that come through things like that are extremely deep. And so I tried to encapsulate concepts like that in order to create my own metaphorical bin bin. Like I find our brains, my head is our heads are our bin bins.
Wow.
If our bodies are the pyramid, So that's pretty much the whole concept in like a actually short nutshell.
Wow, that's interesting. Wow. So you was raised in Washington. Well, you was born and raised in Washington D.C.
Born in D.C., a bit of a Rolling Stone for a minute, but I've been in Carolina for about 15, 16 years.
What, in the Charleston area?
Greenville. Well, I went to college at Newberry. Grew up in North Augusta. Went to college at Newberry College. After Newberry College, I moved to Greenville, and then from Greenville, I moved to Charleston in 2018, summer 2018.
Okay. Wow. So, talked about Scars. That song is pretty deep as well. Scars.
Oh yeah. Scars is probably, it would be the title track if it wasn't for just trying to fit a certain flow. But basically, that's probably my personal favorite song on there, just because it's like my conversation, like a conversation that we should have to our higher self. Like you can see it as you talking to yourself, or you can see it as you're talking to somebody else. But it's like we connect through pain amongst so many amongst so many shared emotions. You are not insane, different boat, same oceans. So like even though our pain is different, like we're on two different spectrums of what we're going through, we might still be in the same exact water of pain, like the pain that we feel, like that feeling that brings you to that place. You know what I'm saying? It can be different things that bring you to that place. Those are our boats, but we all get to that place. And so I feel like if we connect on that together, and we don't feel alone, like that, you don't feel alone when you connect with somebody on that level. And so as a man, you know what I mean? Like it's hard for men to talk like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, or like even touch onto that kind of subject. And that's one of my big things that I want to change. Like we have to get rid of that concept that as men, we can't be masculine and embrace and understand our emotions and the way we feel just from a man standpoint. But we all have scars, from children to the oldest person, any color, any shape, form, or creed. We all have some kind of pain or something that puts us in those deep places. So this was the song basically saying that I understand that to everybody who hears this song, and I feel it, and I love you through it, and I hope you do the same for me as you continue to listen through the album, type of thing.
Wow. So okay, well, you're definitely different from the rest of the independent artists. So, and that's a good thing, extremely good thing. Where you see your music in the next 5 to 10 years? What are your music goals? Because with all this collection of great, awesome masterpiece work,
Yeah.
where you see something doing with this music here? What your goals are?
Yeah. I've been thinking about that a lot more as of recent. My ultimate goal is to be a songwriter. Like, I write more than just rap. I write more than just soul, R&B, and spoken word. Like, I just recently made a track yesterday, like my first multilingual track. So like two people that I met that are from the Dominican Republic, and another producer that was from here in Charleston. We got together and we made a song and it came together. So doing things like that, like trying to bridge gaps between genres, but not without like killing the luster of what you're doing, like without selling yourself short, being able to like intermingle what you do with other concepts of music. So I ultimately want to like songwrite, do things like that with the intergenre, and use that in order to really invest in education. And so eventually get music into education, like on a real serious level in South Carolina, and like really make some changes. Like that's my overall goal, is to use everything that I do, from music, songwriting particularly. And I'm not really too much on the production side. I don't really make beats. I believe in mastery, so I focus on one or two things and I put my soul into it. And so music and recording, or writing and recording, are just my two real big things. And I feel like I'm mastering them to a point where I'd be able to like make a future off of it. So within the next 5 years, I really want to solidify that aspect and kind of get known as a songwriter.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, what's your perspective on the local scene here, music-wise, independent scene here in Charleston, South Carolina?
Yeah. On the local side, I mean, there's a lot of promise. Like, there's a whole lot of promise because there's so many like hyper talented people in Charleston, and it's always been like that. Like I work with a group, Leaving Legacies. We're basically we're like a media company. So we'll be doing promotion. We do interviews with our blog, Feel Out Carolinas, headed by Costello Studios and Mahogany Darkberry, Leaving Legacies. And basically, we're doing this thing where we're going to start getting artists and start helping develop them, and we'll be doing promotion for them, videography. We'll be filming their shows and stuff like that. So, we had a meeting the other night. We were working on this documentary, and so we actually met Pacino Dino and Mr. Taylor. And we met B Kiddo, and like I'm not from Charleston, so to meet these people, and I've been hearing about them in South Carolina for all these years, was like crazy for me. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody else was chilling, I'm sitting there like, and so just kind of soaking up the game. And so everybody was, they were talking about like the current state of where things are, and they were talking about how like back in the day, things were a lot more concrete in the sense of Charleston was a unit. You know what I'm saying? Like Charleston was one unit. Like even though people had their things going on, like you can tell the Charleston sound. Like you knew a Charleston song, you heard it. You knew Pacino when you heard it. You knew Marley Marl when you heard it. You knew, Dirty Dave, Mr. Taylor, all these guys when you heard them. But nowadays, that's not the case. Everybody's mimicking or kind of taking to the Atlanta, the New York, the California type of style and implementing it into the Charleston way, like the specific Charleston sound, and it's kind of changing it. And so you see these differences in the sound, and now all these different groups or sections are starting to they all want to be better than the other rather than coming together and creating Stankonia. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like everybody wants to, split up, and the whole the racial state of Charleston specifically has always been a thing with music. Like there's no real. It's hard. Like it's starting to do it more. I'm hearing and seeing that it's doing it more over these last couple years as far as intermingling the crowds of music and intermingling like the black and white musicians that are different genres or same genres, and these people sharing stages. You know what I mean? Like I see that a little bit more, but not as much as it could be as a conglomerate, which is Charleston. So I think the separation is something that poisons like what Charleston could really be, as far as like how Atlanta has become the hub for the South. Like Charleston has everything in order to do that. There's so many like wonderful artists here on every spectrum in the rap, R&B. There's wonderful poets here. Like every spectrum of music Charleston excels at. It's just so divided. Nobody, one hand should wash the other. It's not happening like that, so it's a beautiful thing that everybody is on the move with it, but it is unfortunate that there's such division amongst it.
Okay. Wow. All right. So, okay. So, where can we find your music? And are you having there will be new music on the way later on? Or Ben Ben is your last album?
Oh, no. Ben Ben was the first album. I have 4 EPs that I'm working on dropping before September.
So you're going to be around for a minute.
Like the production together. Like I've been extremely active. I'm actually, I have a show this Saturday, July 4th at the Purple Buffalo. This is going to be my first time performing with like analog, somebody on stage, like analoguing, whether it be a band or like the analog drum machine. I'm gonna be working with Slim Soul of Soul Power Productions, and this is gonna be my first like big live show, 45-minute set. So I'm extremely excited for it. That's coming up. I've got the 4 EPs, another show at the Purple Buffalo on July 11th, a couple singles coming out. I have the single that I was talking about with the Dominican brothers, P Money. That's going to be releasing as soon as we get all that squared away. The song is finished, and I have a couple singles that I'm releasing. So I'm just kind of waiting for attention to kind of shift right now, because everything is in a real volatile time. Energy is real convoluted with everything going on. We don't know whether to embrace and enjoy time right now, or is it time to be militant? Is it time to sit back? We don't know. So, or that's just the vibe I'm getting from the world right now.
Right.
So I'm just making sure to play it smart. So, but there's a lot coming before Halloween. I'll say that.
Are we gonna see any visuals?
Very soon. That's my kryptonite right there. Is I have a couple online, but it's like me featuring me on featured tracks, which has always been my thing. Is like the features. I love to feature on songs. I have my setup, so y'all hit me up. But Sugar will be the first video. I have to make that official. As a matter of fact, while I'm on here, if there are any couples, like I'm looking for couples for Sugar, so I'm gonna need like 20 different couples for the idea that I have, because I don't even want to be in the video. Kinda, not really, but a little bit. But the whole thing about Sugar is love, and that intimate love with one person. Like I kind of see a dude could say this to a girl. Like you could read, any guy can read this or sing this song to a woman, and it seemed personal. You know what I'm saying? Like just because of the words, the way it came, the way I like portrayed it out, like from my heart. So I'm looking for couples for that video, but that will be the first one, and then a bunch to come once I kind of get my groove with that.
Awesome. Wow, that's awesome. I can see it now. Yeah, that's great.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Man, I really do appreciate you coming on and talking about your music. Like I said, I was a fan since 2018. I love your music, man. I mean, you are a genius. You know, there's very few geniuses here in Charleston, in South Carolina. But yeah, I love your music, man. It's really, really, really good. I really appreciate it.
Highly appreciate that.
Mhm.
For real.
Thanks, man. Uh, Tell everyone on your social media pages and accounts or whatever. And again, where you find your music.
Got you. Well, my most active on Instagram at BIGGXLD. That's Big Gold. Let's see here. My music is on Spotify, iTunes, Pandora now. A good couple of online radio stations, but pretty much all streaming platforms. YouTube. Just type in INDIGXLD. I have my personal. If you put my name in, you'll see two pages come up. Just add them both. One is my monetized page, and the other one is like my personal page with music I've dropped over the years. Let's see, Facebook. Everything is Indi'Gxld, INDI''GXLD, and if you type that name in on Google, all my stuff will pop up. If you look on any of my social media pages, I also have a master link that sends you to all of my stuff, like any blogs, any interviews I've ever had, links to my music, all that good stuff. So hope you guys check me out and love the content that you see.
All right, man. Thanks again, yo. Be safe.
I appreciate you for having me, man.
No problem. Be safe, and you have a